What's up, guys? This is Zach from Bet on It MMA, and I am here to give you a recap of Holloway versus Allen, the fight night that just happened. Really good fights, had a couple controversy fights, and I'm here to talk all about it from the first prelim fight to the main event with Holloway beating Allen. Starting with the first fight, the first fight kind of let me know how the judges were scoring the fights, and they had some controversy with this one and Jocelyn Edwards getting the win over Moldova. If you're somebody who kind of goes off the old scoring system where, you get a takedown in the last 30 seconds to fight, or you get a takedown laying on somebody and you're not doing any damage, you're gonna give that fight to Moldova, right? And it's hard to argue with that. We're used to seeing that. But if you're going off the new criteria, the updated how they judge fights off of damage, you could make a case for Jocelyn Edwards. I wasn't mad at the decision. I know the commentary had a lot of words for it, but it just kind of let me know, viewing it, that all right, they're scoring these things on these fights tonight on damage. So if you're just laying on somebody for 4 minutes and they get up and they outstrike you and land some good shots, they're probably gonna give it to them. And I will have to give it to the judges. They were pretty consistent on that. And yeah, Jocelyn Edwards continues her win streak. I want to say she's on a 3-fight win streak now. And Moldova put up a hell of a fight. So good performance from both of them. No shame in that loss. A lot of people thought she won. So moving up the card, we have Bolanos getting the unanimous decision over Aaron Phillips. I didn't really agree with it being unanimous. I thought it was going to be a split. And again, off the first fight, we're so used to seeing fights getting scored off control. Bolanos did land more shots standing up, and Aaron definitely, had control in the takedowns. If you're scoring it off of control, you can make a case for Aaron. If you're scoring off damage, I get it why they gave it to Bolanos. All in all, a good fight from both. Both showed, a little bit of everything in that fight, and no shame in any performance right there. So first two fights started off pretty good. We had the third fight, Denise Gomez getting the TKO victory over Brazil. Um, this was a fight me and Harley were split on. I got why he picked, the other girl. He got why I picked this girl. Close fight, but Gomez just ultimately showed that, she's got that knockout power in a division that doesn't really show that. So good win by her. Moving up the card, we had Daniel Zellhuber, beating Lando Vannata in a unanimous decision. Vannata was in there, showed his grit, showed his experience, but Zellhuber was just too much, man. That height, him being super, super young, 23, and beating a vet like Lando Vannata after coming off a disappointing loss, man, that shows that he's fixed what he needed to fix. And a guy like this at 23 is scary. You're only going to see him get better. I hope they don't rush him. I hope they build him up right, because this is another kid from Mexico who they can build on. The left hook, the takedown defense. I love his game, man. And I think you're going to see bigger and better things. And even though Vannata lost, it wasn't a bad loss. He did not get finished. He stayed in there. And ultimately, I think he needs to drop down back to 145, and he'll look good there. Moving up the card, we got Gillian Robertson getting the armbar over Piera Rodríguez. Rodríguez was undefeated coming into this, had a lot of hype behind her, and Robertson had a lot of hype behind her too from getting that grappling victory over Rose Namajunas. She showed that it wasn't a fluke. She showed that she's a problem for anybody on the ground. And I think Rodríguez just fell into that trap, man. She went in her guard, and Robertson was able to, from her back, get a single leg stand up and get the takedown. Showed that, she's a vet. I want to say 27, 28 years old. She's only going to get better. And, Rodríguez is still early in her UFC career too. So real interesting to see how she bounces back from that. But yeah, moving up the card, we have Zak Cummings, beating Ed Herman. Probably one of the cooler things I've seen in fights, that double retirement. You know what I mean? Both these guys been in the game for a while, especially Ed Herman, Ultimate Fighter season 3. Then fought everybody at 185, moved up to 205, and was still giving a lot of guys problems. Zak Cummings, man, he was on the Ultimate Fighter with Uriah Hall. Um, Coming back a big layoff and getting a win like this in his hometown, and like Ed Herman, like showing that warrior spirit, taking shots, keeping coming. And like, what a beautiful moment for both of them to retire, both have their moment and just like embrace after. That was very cool to see. Moving up the card, we had Brandon Royval beating Nicolau, man. Nicolau was a I can't even call him a prospect, a contender, like on the rise, couple fights away from a title shot. Royval came into the UFC and just made noise right away. Kind of had trouble getting consistency because I mean he was fighting the best and had some losses by injury, but like he showed that he's that guy, he's for real, and you got to put respect on his name. I picked Nicolau to win. Royval proved me wrong, man. He did his thing. So shout out to him. Probably gonna get a title shot soon. He might be the backup fighter for the next flyweight fight between Moreno and Pantoja. So big ups to him. Next up we had Bill Algeo catching a slick short elbow, dropping TJ Brown and ultimately rear naked choking him. I will say this though, man. TJ Brown probably looked the best he's ever looked up until that. I forgot where they said he was training, but wherever he was, it's working. I think you're only gonna see him get better and better and better from here. Bill Algeo is always a guy, like, don't ever bet against this guy. Like, he's always in the fight, always constantly improving. He might get hit, but he's coming back with something, you know what I mean? So such a dog, and shout out to him because he was on our parlay. All right. Moving up, we had Rafa Garcia, displaying damn near perfect fight versus Clay Guida. We know Clay Guida's up in there, up there in age, but to still put on a flawless victory over a vet like that was cool to see. Moving up the card, Pedro Munhoz getting the victory over Chris Gutierrez, and that's definitely one that we got wrong. I thought Gutierrez was going to be able to outkick him, but what I underestimated was Munoz's power to have Gutierrez on his back foot, and yeah, just ultimately just not necessarily intimidate him with the power, but give him something to worry about, and ultimately that's what won him the fight, and in a close technical fight. Round 2 and 3 were close, and showed that grit, that power, that savviness of a vet. So good to see Pedro Munoz back in the win column, and I think this is only going to push a guy like Gutierrez to get better and make those adjustments. So good to see that. Next up we had Ion Cuțelaba getting the TKO over Tanner Boser. Tanner Boser dropping down a weight class. And anytime you drop down a weight class, man, what a lot of people don't understand is you're dehydrating your body. So the shots Boser could take at heavyweight, I feel like had an effect at light heavyweight, being dehydrated. I mean, I want to say he weighed in at 203. And Ion Cuțelaba is such a quick starter, comes forward nonstop, no fear. So he clipped Boser early and just Boser could never get going. So good win by Cuțelaba. I do think 205 is good for Boser. He's just got to get that weight cut, down pat. Next up, we had Azamat Murzakanov beating Dustin Jacoby. First two rounds were all Murzakanov, and then round 3, Dustin Jacoby started to, turn it up a bit and land some hard shots, man. At the end, he started to wrestle. I feel like it's hard because whenever you're trained to do that and you're in that position, I definitely get why he fell into trying to take him down, maybe try to get a takedown finish or maybe a rear naked choke to open up. But to me, he was having a lot of success on the feet and he was hurting them, and especially with those head kicks he was throwing. It was looking very promising for him to maybe get a TKO victory, come back in the third round, but he chose to wrestle. And ultimately, that gave Murzakanov the unanimous decision by winning round 1. Round 2, Murzakanov still undefeated. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get another top ranked guy. And I'm really excited to see if he can do what he did to Dustin Jacoby to these other guys, man, because Jacoby is a guy who's well respected, gave a lot of guys tough fights in that division. And, he can still make a run. You know what I mean? He's no slouch. So good win by Murzakanov. Next up, we had Edson Barboza beating Billy Q. This one, not say a surprise, but I definitely say I picked this one wrong. Barboza, you know what I mean, kind of showed that there's levels, and that's how I'm gonna approach the main event, by the way, too, because I mean Barboza was just a step ahead, way quicker. The commentator was like, man, if Billy Q doesn't wrestle, it can get ugly, and that's exactly what happened, man. Barboza just showed that he's been at this level for a long time, and if you're gonna beat him, you know, it's not gonna be standing up. You have to grind this guy out. Good win by Barboza. He's still in there to, be in that top 10 at 45. So good to see. And I think Billy Q, even though he got, knocked out, he's still a guy that is going to be an exciting fighter. I mean, opening of a main card on a fight night, and can still work his way up to where he was right there. Um, Moving up the card, we have Max Holloway beating Arnold Allen. I mean, Max Holloway, man, he's like the ultimate. Like, you got to get through this guy to get to the champ, and nobody's getting through this guy. We see Yair with the interim belt, and a lot of people forget that Max beat Yair. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys getting these title shots at 45, it's like they have to not fight Max to get that. If you fight Max, you're not getting that title shot. And it's just cool to see Max still, showing that he's still got it, man. Volk is just really fucking good. And Max had a competitive fight with Volk, you know what I mean? A bunch of times. Uh Max is a legend, bro. I would love to see him fight at 55. I would love to see him fight Volk again. I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but I mean, as long as the UFC is around, Max is around. You know what I'm saying? He's such a dog. And Arnold Allen, no shame in losing to Max Holloway. You had good rounds. I'd say you won a round or two versus Max. You know what I mean? So he had a 10 fight win streak. I don't know how many people have ever done that in that division. So still, I know Arnold Allen was this close to getting the title shot. I don't think that's the last time you're going to see him get that close again. Keep your eyes on him still. But yeah, that's my recap of a UFC fight night. Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. Shout out to all the fighters on the card, man. They made it a hell of a fight card. And once again, 2 out of our 3 parlays have hit. That's 4 weeks in a row, man. 2 out of 3 free parlays hit. We're at least doubling your money. We're doing research. That way you don't have to. All you gotta do is watch the video. And if you don't even want to watch the video, you know what I'm saying? Follow our Facebook, follow our Instagram. The day of the fights, we put it out there. That way you ain't gotta spend hours and hours and hours watching these fights. We do that for you for the free. All we ask is that you like the video, comment on it, whatever you gotta do, subscribe, just support us, man. We're gonna keep doing this for y'all. So appreciate y'all.